I have approximately 45 seconds before the most dangerous man in Koreatown walks through that door and realizes I'm pretending to be his son's mother. The principal's office smells like cheap air freshener and anxiety. I'm perched on a leather chair wearing a burgundy Goodwill blazer, professional enough to pass as a concerned parent, cheap enough that the stitching's already unraveling. My knockoff Prada bag contains a janitor's uniform, 2 bus tokens, and $16. Principal Davidson drones about behavioral concerns. But I'm watching the frosted glass door, watching for the shadow that means Kang Jin-seok has arrived, and my desperate gamble just became a death sentence. Here's what I noticed when I walked in. Coffee ring on the incident report, still damp, printed less than 20 minutes ago. The boy's file has a sticky note. Father, not parent. Specific. Davidson's wedding ring has a mismatched tan line. Affair, probably. Distracted. Vulnerable to confident authority. That's why he believed me 30 minutes ago when I claimed I was Mrs. Kang here for the parent-teacher conference. But Day, the 8-year-old at the center of this disaster, looked at me with eyes too old for his face and didn't say a word. He knew I wasn't his mother, yet he stayed quiet. Why? Because 20 minutes earlier, I'd been cleaning third-floor bathrooms when I overheard 2 teachers. Kang Dae's father is Jin-seok Kang. Yes, that Kang, the one the FBI is investigating. I needed this job. Harbor Prep pays janitorial staff $28 an hour, more than anywhere because rich people's messes require discretion. I've been invisible here for 6 weeks, surviving, saving. Then I saw the call slip. Dae Kang, incident, father notified, 2 p.m. 3 months ago, I witnessed Jin-seok Kang execute a man in a parking garage. I saw the blood. I saw his face, cold, efficient, merciless. And he saw me, just for a second before I ran. He's been hunting me since. I've spotted his men twice. I've been moving, changing routes, becoming no one. But if he finds me as a janitor, I'm the witness who ran. I'm eliminated. But if I'm sitting here as someone concerned with his son's welfare, maybe I'm useful. Maybe I'm worth keeping alive. The shadow appears in the frosted glass. My heart hammers. I force my hands still. Confident, concerned parent, not terrified witness playing the most dangerous game of her life. The door opens. Kang Jin-seok walks in, and the temperature drops. Charcoal Tom Ford suit, silver-threaded temples, 42, moving like a man who's survived things age can't measure. 2 guards flank him, hands positioned for quick weapon access. His eyes sweep the room. Principal, son, me. They stop on me. 3 seconds. His jaw tightens imperceptibly. His right hand flexes once. Recognition, calculation. He knows exactly who I am. Mr. Kang, Davidson continues, oblivious. Thank you for coming. I wanted to discuss Dae's altercation. Mrs. Kang and I have been... Mrs. Kang. Jin-seok's voice is silk over steel, eyes locked on mine. I don't believe we've met. My name is Sage Bennett. I'm 29, and I'm very good at being invisible. Foster care teaches you that. You learn to read rooms, read people, notice when to speak, and when silence keeps you safe. I'd parlayed that into professional organizing for Manhattan's wealthy, made decent money, had a studio in Astoria, a finance boyfriend, stability for the first time since aging out at 18. Then Marcus, the boyfriend, stole $80,000 from his firm and told them I'd helped. I hadn't. But Marcus was white, well-connected, convincing. I was a black woman with a foster care record. The firm didn't press charges, bad publicity, but they blacklisted me. Reputation destroyed. Marcus disappeared with the money. I got evicted. 8 months of warehouse jobs and retail. Then my foster sister Keisha called from L.A. Fresh start. Better pay. I arrived 3 months ago with 2 suitcases and $400. Keisha got me hotel cleaning work in Koreatown. Hard hours, but legitimate. Then one night, cutting through the Jade Lion parking garage after a double shift, I heard voices. Angry, Korean and English mixed. I should have kept walking. I rounded a concrete pillar and saw them. 3 men, One kneeling, zip-tied, bleeding. Jin Seok Kang holding a suppressed pistol. The kneeling man begged in Korean. Kang said something, low, final. Then he pulled the trigger. Pete. Soft. Almost polite. I must have gasped. Kang turned, looked directly at me. 2 seconds. His expression didn't change. He simply looked, the way you'd look at a problem requiring solution. I ran 6 blocks onto a bus to Keisha's apartment. I didn't call police. I've never trusted cops, and what would I say? No evidence, no credibility, and the killer is a wealthy, respected businessman? I moved out, found a new apartment, quit the hotel, started over. 2 weeks later, I saw one of his men outside my building, just standing there, watching. I didn't go home that night, found another apartment, changed routes, deleted social media. Then I saw another one at my new bus stop. They were hunting me, methodically. I needed somewhere they wouldn't look, somewhere with security, cameras, witnesses, Harbor Prep Academy, janitorial posting, $28 an hour, background check required, which I could pass, discretion mandatory, rich private school, hundreds of people around constantly. I could be invisible. For 6 weeks, it worked. Then today, I heard those teachers talking about Kang Dae, Jin Seok's son, and I made a decision that would either save my life or end it. 20 minutes later, I'd grabbed my blazer, walked into the administrative office with a clipboard, and confidently told the assistant I was there for the 2 o'clock parent-teacher conference. Parent-teacher conference, I said. The principal called about Dae. She blinked, confused, but I was already knocking. I walked in. Dae sat against the wall, small for 8, wearing a uniform worth more than my weekly salary, sharp features like his father, but different eyes, wary, watchful, old. He looked at me. I looked at him. I saw the exact moment he understood I wasn't his mother. Mrs. Kang, Davidson said, standing. Thank you for coming. Of course. Dae's well-being is my priority. The boy's eyes stayed on me, calculating. He said nothing. Davidson launched into his speech. Dae had punched another student during recess. As he talked, I watched the boy. Then Davidson said, I've called Mr. Kang as well. He should be here shortly. My stomach dropped. 20 minutes before Jin Seok arrived. 20 minutes to figure out survival. Dae spoke quietly. You're not my mom. No, I said softly. I'm not. Why are you here? Because I need your father to think I am. Just for a few minutes. Why? I looked at this 8-year-old and made a choice. Because if he finds me any other way, he'll kill me. I'm hoping if you don't expose me, I'll figure out how to make myself valuable enough to keep alive. Dae studied me. He doesn't kill people without reason. I saw something I shouldn't have. Then you're already dead. Matter of fact, no emotion. Maybe, but I'm good at noticing things others miss. Your father strikes me as someone who values useful people. What did you notice? I glanced at Davidson, leaned toward Dae. I noticed you don't have bruises from a fight. Your knuckles aren't red, but the report says you punched Simon Westbrook. His eyes widened fractionally. I noticed Simon is Edward Westbrook's son, your father's direct competitor. You didn't start this fight. You're covering for someone, defending someone smaller. But you can't tell the truth because your father doesn't know you have friends here. And if he did, those friends become leverage. Silence. What's your name? Sage. Sage, when my father gets here, don't lie to him. He hates liars. Tell him the truth, just not all at once. The shadow appeared in the glass. Now, here we are. Mrs. Kang, Jin Seok repeats. I don't believe we've met. I stand, meet his eyes. We haven't. Because I'm not Mrs. Kang. I'm Sage Bennett. I'm the janitor who witnessed you kill a man in the Jade Lion parking garage 3 months ago. I walked into this office pretending to be your son's mother because I knew if you found me any other way, I'd be dead. So I'm making myself useful instead. Davidson goes pale. What? I don't... Jin Seok raises one hand. Davidson falls silent. Guards shift, blocking exit. Jin Seok studies me. 10 seconds. Then he looks at Dae. Did she hurt you? No, Appa? Threaten you? No. Why didn't you tell the principal she wasn't your mother? Day considers carefully. Because she noticed something about me everyone else missed. I wanted to see what she'd do. Jin Seok's attention returns to me. What did she notice? That I didn't actually hit Simon Westbrook. That I'm protecting someone, lying to cover for a friend. Something changes in Jin Seok's expression, interest, calculation. Mr. Kang, Davidson stammers, I assure you, leave. Take my son to your waiting area. Give him something to eat. We'll discuss his situation in 10 minutes. Davidson practically runs, ushering Day ahead. The boy glances back once. Now it's just me, Jin Seok, and 2 armed men. Jin Seok walks slowly around the desk, picks up the incident report, scans it, sets it down. You've been running for 3 months. Yes. My people found you twice. You moved both times. Yes. But instead of running a 3rd time, you staged an elaborate con. He tilts his head. That's either brilliantly strategic or suicidally stupid. Probably both. But I was out of options, and I'm betting you value intelligence more than you fear witnesses. Bold assumption. You're still talking instead of killing me. That's evidence. The corner of his mouth twitches. What makes you think you're valuable enough to keep alive? I just demonstrated I can see things others miss. Your son confirmed it. A man in your position, constantly watching for threats, betrayals, law enforcement, would find use for someone who notices details. I have people for that. Do you? The man you killed? He'd been stealing for at least 6 months. I could tell from his body language. He wasn't surprised you knew. He was surprised you'd finally acted. Your security missed his theft for half a year. Jin Seok's eyes narrow. How could you possibly know that? Because when you accused him, he didn't deny it. He just begged. People caught unexpectedly deny first. He'd been waiting to get caught. Long-term guilt. And you were angry, personal betrayal anger. That's not someone who stole once. That's repeated theft that made you feel like a fool. Silence. His name was Kim Min-ho. He managed my books for 6 years, embezzled $400,000 over 18 months, not 6, but close enough. He steps closer. You saw a 2-minute interaction in darkness and deduced all that? I've had to read people my whole life to survive. What else did you notice? About me? Test. I know it's a test. I commit. You're left-handed but shot with your right. You wanted the shot clean, controlled. Dominant hand would have been too personal. You wanted distance from the act. Surgical gloves, not leather. Minimal fingerprints but maintained control. You had your men restrain him but not gag him. You wanted him to speak, to explain, to give you a reason not to kill him, but he didn't. So you did what you had to do, hating that you had to. Jin Seok stares. Then he says something in Korean to his guards. They relax fractionally. He pulls out his phone, types, pockets it. You're right. I did hate it. Min-ho was my friend. He walks to the window. I gave him 3 chances to confess. He lied every time. So when I found proof, I had no choice. In my world, betrayal is death. Otherwise, there is no order. I understand. Do you? Because you witnessed murder. That makes you a liability. The logical move is elimination. The logical move is to make me more valuable working for you than dead. And how do you propose to do that? I just proved I can read situations accurately. You need someone who can observe meetings, people, operations, and tell you what they see. Someone who notices inconsistencies, someone invisible. I have security professionals. Who are men? Who look like threats? I'm a black woman who cleans toilets. I'm invisible in every space. No one watches what they say around me. He considers this. What's your background? I tell him. Foster care, professional organizer, Marcus's betrayal, the blacklist, desperation. When I finish, why didn't you go to police? Because I don't trust cops, because I have no proof, because you're rich and connected and I'm nobody, and because... I hesitate. Because? Because I understand why you did it. I was betrayed by someone I trusted too. If I'd had the power, I might have done the same thing. Jin Seok studies me. I'm going to make you an offer, but first, what did you really notice about my son's fight? Real test. D didn't punch anyone. Simon Westbrook punched himself, or had someone do it, and blamed Day. Day's covering for someone smaller, probably a younger student Simon was bullying. Day intervened, stopped it without violence. Simon retaliated by framing him. Day can't tell you the truth because if you know he has friends here, those friends become targets. Leverage. So he's taking the punishment to protect them. Jin Seok's expression shifts. Pride. My son is the only good thing I've ever made, and you saw who he really is in 30 minutes. My security team didn't. He walks back. Here's my offer. You work for me. Not as a cleaner, as an observer. Attend meetings, watch interactions, tell me what you see. You live in my home where I can ensure you're protected. You become part of my household. In exchange, I pay you, keep you safe, and don't kill you for witnessing Minho's execution. And if I refuse, then you leave this office and my men ensure you don't reach the parking lot. Not really a choice. One condition. I need to know Day's safe, that this doesn't put him in more danger. His eyebrows rise. You just met my son. Why do you care? Because he's 8 and he's already learned to lie to protect people weaker than him. That means he has a conscience. I don't want to be part of something that corrupts that. Jin Seok looks at me for a long time. Day is safer with you in my household than out of it. You'll notice threats I'd miss. You'll keep him alive. That's worth your survival. I nod. Then I accept. Good. He extends his hand. I shake it. Firm grip. You start immediately. My men will collect your belongings. You move into the guest house tonight. What do I tell people? Do you have anyone? Stings, but fair. Not really. Then there's nothing to tell. He heads for the door, pauses. Sage, one rule, don't lie to me, ever. I'll forgive ignorance, I'll forgive mistakes, but never deception. Understand? Yes. Then welcome to the family. He walks out, guards following. I stand alone, shaking. I just sold myself to a killer to survive. I just bet everything on my observation skills keeping me valuable. I just walked into the Korean Mafia world with nothing but desperation. The Kang estate isn't what I expected. Not ostentatious, understated elegance. Walled compound in the Hollywood Hills, traditional Korean architecture with modern security, gardens with stone pathways, a koi pond worth more than I made in 5 years, main house for Jin Seok and Dae, guest house for me, 1 bedroom, full kitchen, bathroom with soaking tub, nicer than anywhere I've lived. Feels like a trap, because nothing this good has ever been safe. Mrs. Song, the housekeeper, showed me around with brisk efficiency. 60-something, sharp-eyed, clearly disapproving. Sejongnim doesn't usually bring outsiders into the household, she said, folding towels aggressively. I'm not here as a guest. No, you're something else. I don't know what yet. She fixed me with a look that could strip paint. I've worked for Kang Sejongnim 15 years. I've seen people come and go. The ones who survive understand their place and don't overstep. What's my place? That remains to be seen. I unpacked my 2 suitcases and tried to process what I'd done. Traded autonomy for survival, freedom for protection. I was now property, an asset, but I was alive. That night, Jin Seok summoned me to his office. Dark wood, floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, expensive desk. But what caught my attention was the wall of monitors, security feeds from multiple locations, restaurants, warehouses, parking garages. He was watching his empire in real time. Sit. I sat across from his desk. He typed, then closed his laptop. Tomorrow, you accompany me to a business meeting. 3 restaurant owners. Nominally legitimate, actually money laundering fronts. Territory negotiations. I need you to watch them. Tell me who's lying, who's planning betrayal, who I can trust. How will I know? You tell me. You're the one who notices things. I need context. Background. I can't read people in a vacuum. He considered, then nodded, pulled out a folder. 3 owners. Kim Sung-min, 48, barbecue chain. Works with gambling syndicate, ambitious. Lee Tae-hyun, 52, cocktail lounges, conservative, risk-averse. Park Jin-young, 39, nightclub empire, aggressive, hungry. I studied the photos and dossiers. The negotiation, Jin Seok continued, is about dividing control of a downtown development, luxury residences, retail space. Whoever controls the commercial leases controls the money flow. All 3 want majority stake. I'm mediating because war attracts law enforcement attention. But if one's planning to eliminate the others and take everything, I need to know before the meeting turns into a bloodbath. What happens if I'm wrong? People die. Possibly including you. No pressure. I spent 3 hours reading files, memorizing faces. Jin Seok worked in silence, occasionally taking calls in Korean, voice shifting between cordial and cold. Around midnight, Dae appeared in the doorway in pajamas, holding a book. "Appa, I can't sleep." Jin Seok's entire demeanor changed. Cold strategist became father. Bad dream? No, just thinking. About? The fight at school. Jin Seok glanced at me, then back at Dae. "We'll discuss it tomorrow. Go back to bed." Can Sage read to me? Silence. Dae watched me with those calculating eyes. "Sage is working," Jin Seok said carefully. "She's reading files. She can read my book instead, just for a little while." Test. From Dae or Jin Seok or both. "I don't mind," I said. Jin Seok studied me, then nodded. 30 minutes, then bed. I followed Dae to his room, immaculate, filled with books and Legos. He climbed into bed, handed me Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. "You're on chapter 12. Appa usually reads to me, but he's been busy. I started reading. After a few pages, Dae interrupted. "Why did you really pretend to be my mom?" I marked the page. "I told you. I needed your father to see me as useful, not dangerous." "But you could have just told him you noticed things. You didn't have to involve me." I did, actually. Walking up to a Mafia boss and saying, "Hi, I witnessed you commit murder, but please don't kill me. Doesn't usually end well. I needed a buffer. You were it." "Did you know I'd help you?" "No. I hoped. But I didn't know." "Why?" "Because you're 8. You don't owe me anything. You could have exposed me immediately." Dae thought about this. "I didn't expose you because you saw the truth about the fight. No one else did, not even Appa. That means you're special. Or just observant. Same thing, in my world." He settled deeper into his pillows. "Sage, are you going to stay?" "I don't know. Your father says I work for him now, so probably." "Good. Appa needs someone who sees things. He's surrounded by people who tell him what he wants to hear. You'll tell him the truth." "How do you know?" "Because you told me the truth in the principal's office. You could have made up a nice story, but you didn't. That's honest." I kept reading until he fell asleep. Jin Seok was waiting in the hallway. "He likes you," he said quietly. "He's a good kid." "Yes, he is." He walked me toward the guest house. Dae's mother died when he was 4. Cancer. She was the best person I've ever known. She's the reason I'm not worse than I am. "I'm sorry." "Don't be. Just understand. Dae is everything to me. If you ever put him in danger, I will kill you without hesitation." "Understood. But if you protect him, if you help him grow up good despite what I am, there's nothing I won't do for you." He stopped at my door. "Get sleep. Tomorrow will be difficult." He disappeared into darkness. I went inside, lay in bed staring at the ceiling. I'd just been adopted by a Mafia boss and his traumatized son, and against every survival instinct, I was starting to care about them. The meeting was at the Silver Lotus, Jin Seok's high-end Korean fusion restaurant in Beverly Hills. I dressed carefully, business casual, muted colors, nothing flashy. Jin Seok instructed me to sit against the wall, observe, take notes, but stay silent and invisible. "You're my assistant. There to record agreements. They'll ignore you." Perfect. The 3 owners arrived within minutes. Kim Sung-min, Prosperous, confident, wearing a Rolex. Lee Tae-hyun, reserved, impeccably dressed, polite. Park Jin-young, youngest, most aggressive, designer everything, gold chains. Jin Seok greeted them in Korean, smooth and diplomatic. They settled around the table. I took my position, tablet in hand, invisible. Negotiation began in English, for my benefit, I assumed. Kim spoke first. The downtown development is 12 commercial units. I propose we divide equally, 4 each. Simple, fair. Park scoffed. Fair? Your restaurants generate half what mine do. Equal division isn't fair. It's charity. Then we divide by revenue contribution, Lee suggested, proportional to what each brings. They argued for 20 minutes. I watched and noticed things. Kim's right hand kept drifting to his left pocket. Not his phone, just touching it. Reassurance gesture. He had something in that pocket he was checking repeatedly. Document? Evidence? Lee was calm, composed, but twice when Park mentioned specific revenue numbers, Lee's jaw tightened imperceptibly. Park knew things about Lee's financials that Lee didn't want revealed. Leverage. And Park, aggressive, dominating, kept looking at Jin Seok for approval. Not at the other two. At Jin Seok. He wasn't negotiating with them. He was performing for the mediator. After an hour, Jin Seok called a break. The 3 stepped out. Jin Seok gestured me into a corner. What did you see? I told him. His eyes sharpened. Conclusions? Kim has a document in his pocket. Probably a side deal he's already negotiated with someone else. Maybe directly with the developer. He's going through motions, but he already has his stakes secured. Lee? Hiding financial problems. Park knows and is using that knowledge to corner him. Lee's desperate for this deal because he needs the cash flow. And Park? Park isn't here to negotiate with them. He's here to impress you. He wants you to see him as dominant, capable, worthy of a bigger role in your organization. Jin Seok smiled. Cold, strategic. You're good. Am I right? We'll find out. When the meeting resumed, Jin Seok changed tactics. Instead of mediating, he took control. Kim, I'll need to see the document in your left pocket. The one you keep checking. Kim froze. Don't insult my intelligence. Show me. Slowly, Kim pulled out folded paper. Jin Seok read it, set it on the table. A pre-negotiated lease agreement with the development company directly, securing 5 units for yourself before this meeting started. Ice in his voice. Did you think I wouldn't find out? Kim's face paled. Jin Seok turned to Lee. Your cocktail lounges are hemorrhaging money. Tax investigation, supplier issues, declining revenue. You're 3 months from bankruptcy. Lee's composure cracked. How did you... It's my business to know. He looked at Park. And you want to prove you're ready for more responsibility. But this performance, dominating your elders, showing off, demonstrates you're not ready. Respect and restraint are requirements. You've shown neither. Park's confidence crumbled. Jin Seok stood. Here's the new arrangement. Kim, you forfeit your pre-negotiated units. They're redistributed. Lee, you get 6 units, enough to stabilize your finances. Park, you get 2. Kim, you get 4, -1 as penalty. I take the remaining unit as mediation fee. Non-negotiable. They agreed. Of course they agreed. After they left, Jin Seok turned to me. That document in Kim's pocket. How did you know? He kept checking it like a security blanket. People do that when they're hiding something that makes them feel safe. If it was a phone, he'd pull it out. If it was a weapon, he'd check less obviously. A document, especially secret leverage, he'd touch repeatedly to confirm it's still there. And Lee's financial problems? Park mentioned revenue numbers Lee clearly wanted kept private. Lee's reaction, jaw tension, averted eyes, suggested shame, not just annoyance. That's financial desperation. You read all that from micro-expressions and body language. Yes. He looked at me with something like respect. You just saved me from a deal that would have collapsed within 3 months. Kim would have triggered retaliation, Lee would have defaulted, and Park would have tried to seize territory by force. Instead, I have a stable agreement everyone can live with. That's worth keeping me alive? That's worth considerably more than keeping you alive. He held the door. Welcome to the team, Sage. As we drove back, I realized I'd proven my value, which meant I was safe. But it also meant Jin Seok Kang would never let me leave. I was valuable now, and valuable things get protected, controlled, and possessed. I'd escaped one trap and walked straight into another. Over 3 weeks, I became part of Jin Seok's operation. I attended meetings, observed transactions, analyzed behavior. I identified a supplier diluting product. I caught a restaurant manager skimming cash. I noticed one of Jin Seok's lawyers was spending time with an FBI agent and flagged him before he could turn informant. Jin Seok paid me well, more than I'd ever made legally. He gave me access to security feeds, files, operations. He trusted me because I kept proving I could see what others missed. But more than that, I was becoming part of the household. Mrs. Song warmed to me after I noticed her arthritis and suggested a physical therapist. Day asked me to read to him every night. Jin Seok started having dinner with Day and me, often enough that it felt like routine. We were becoming something dangerously close to a family, which is why I noticed when something was wrong. It started small, a conversation that stopped when I entered. One of Jin Seok's senior men, Choi Hyun-woo, head of security, trusted for 7 years, checking his phone repeatedly during a meeting, which he never did. I watched him for 3 days before I was sure. Hyun-woo was careful, professional. But on the 3rd day, I saw him in the garden on a call, speaking in low tones, body language tense. When he hung up, he immediately deleted the call log. That night, I told Jin Seok, his office. Day asleep, estate quiet. Hyun-woo is compromised. Jin Seok looked up from his laptop. Explain. I told him what I'd seen. He listened without interruption. Hyun-woo has been with me 7 years. He's loyal. Loyal people don't delete call logs. He might have personal reasons. He might, but you brought me here to notice things and tell you the truth. That's what I'm doing. Jin Seok leaned back. If you're wrong, you'll have accused a trusted man and damaged his reputation. If I'm wrong, I apologize and accept consequences. But if I'm right and you ignore it, the damage will be worse. He studied me, then picked up his phone and made a call. In Korean, rapid and terse. When he hung up, I'm having Hyun-woo's communications monitored. If you're right, we'll know within 48 hours. 2 days later, Jin Seok confirmed it. Hyun-woo had been contacted by a rival organization, the Westbrook Group, same family whose son had framed Dae at school. They'd offered him money, protection, and a position if he provided intelligence on Jin Seok's operations. Hyun-woo hadn't agreed yet, but he was considering it. Jin Seok called a meeting. His entire inner circle, 8 men, all trusted, all dangerous, and me against the wall. Hyun-woo was brought in, confused. Jin Seok laid out the evidence calmly, phone records, financial transactions, contacts with Westbrook operatives. Hyun-woo denied it at first. Then, when evidence became undeniable, he shifted. They threatened my daughter, he said desperately. Westbrook has people watching her school. They said if I didn't cooperate, she'd disappear. I was trying to protect her. Jin Seok's face was stone. You should have come to me. I was afraid of what? That I wouldn't protect your family? That I'd sacrifice your child? Silence. You've worked for me 7 years, Hyun-woo. In that time, have I ever harmed anyone's family? Have I ever used children as leverage? Silence. I pay my debts. I protect what's mine. You and your daughter are mine. If you'd told me the truth, I'd have moved her to safety, eliminated the threat, ensured Westbrook never touched her. Instead, you considered betraying me. You broke trust. Sejangnim, please. I'll protect your daughter. She'll be moved to a secured location tonight. Education, safety, support, until this is resolved. Jin Seok stood. But you violated the code. Betrayal is death, Hyun-woo. You know this. Hyun-woo began to weep. Jin Seok nodded to 2 men. They escorted Hyun-woo from the room. After he was gone, Jin Seok looked at me. You were right. I didn't feel victorious. I felt sick. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat in the guest house staring at nothing, Knock on the door. Jin Seok stood there, still dressed, looking exhausted. "Can I come in?" I stepped aside. He sat on the couch, silent. Then, "You're upset about Hyun Woo." "I got a man killed." "No, he got himself killed by considering betrayal instead of asking for help." Jin Seok looked at me. "You did your job. You protected me, my son, my operations. That's what I need from you." "I know, but it doesn't feel good." "It shouldn't. The day it feels good to identify someone for execution is the day you've lost your humanity." He rubbed his face. "My wife used to say that. She'd tell me, 'You can do terrible things, Jin Seok, as long as you still feel terrible about them. The moment you stop feeling, you're lost.' Do you still feel terrible?" "Every time." Silence. Then I asked, "What happened to Hyun Woo's daughter?" "She's safe. Private school in San Francisco under a new name. Full scholarship, security detail. She'll never know what her father did or why he's gone. She'll grow up safe." "That's more mercy than most would show. I'm not most people." He stood to leave, paused. "Sage, you saved my organization today. You saved my son. Because if Hyun Woo had given Westbrook intelligence, they'd have used it to hurt Dae. So thank you." After he left, I realized I wasn't just working for Jin Seok anymore. I was loyal to him, and that was far more dangerous than any external threat. The Westbrook situation escalated. Edward Westbrook, furious his attempt to flip Hyun Woo failed, retaliated. One of Jin Seok's restaurants was vandalized, shipments intercepted, 2 operators beaten and hospitalized. Jin Seok responded with calculated precision, cut off Westbrook's supply lines, bought out a key property Westbrook needed, ensured health inspectors and tax auditors suddenly took interest in Westbrook's operations. It was war, cold, strategic, devastating. And I was in the middle of it. Jin Seok brought me to every meeting, every negotiation. I watched rival operators, analyzed tells, identified weak points. I became essential. But proximity to Jin Seok meant something else was happening. I was falling for him. The way he read today using different voices, the way he asked Mrs. Song about her grandchildren and remembered their names, the way he looked at me when I gave him analysis, like I was the smartest person in the room, the way he protected his people ferociously but hated the violence required. He was a killer, a criminal, a man who ordered executions without hesitation. But he was also a father, a leader, a man trying to build something stable in a world of chaos, and I was falling in love with him. The realization hit after a brutal meeting. Westbrook sent a message, a severed finger from one of Jin Seok's men, delivered in a box. Jin Seok's face was cold fury. He dismissed everyone, locked himself in his office. I gave him an hour, then knocked. "Go away." I opened the door anyway. He was at the window, hands in pockets, staring at city lights. I said, "Go away." "I heard you. I'm ignoring you." He turned, anger flashing. "Sage, you're not allowed to isolate when you're this angry. You make bad decisions. Sit down." "I don't take orders. Tonight you do. Sit." To my shock, he sat. I poured him whiskey, neat, and handed it to him, sat across from him. "Talk." "There's nothing to say." Westbrook sent a finger. That's psychological warfare. He's trying to provoke you into making a mistake. "I know that. And you're furious because it's working." His jaw tightened. "He hurt one of my people. I can't let that stand." "You won't, but you'll respond strategically, not emotionally. That's what separates you from him." "How do you know?" "Because I've watched you for 2 months. You don't act on impulse. You calculate. You plan. You win because you're smarter, not because you're more violent." He drank the whiskey in one swallow. "You have too much faith in me." "No, I have exactly the right amount." I leaned forward. "Jin Seok, what Westbrook did is horrific. But if you retaliate the way he expects, he wins. He draws you into open war, law enforcement gets involved, both organizations get dismantled. He's counting on you being emotional. Prove him wrong." He looked at me for a long moment, then quietly. "How did I survive before you?" "Barely, I'm guessing." He laughed, short, surprised. "You're infuriating." "I know, and essential." "I know that too." The air shifted, charged. He stood, walked around the desk, stopped in front of me. "Sage." I stood too. Close. Too close. "This is a bad idea," I said. "I know. You're my employer. I'm your employee. Power dynamics, ethical concerns." He kissed me, gentle, tentative, asking permission. I kissed him back, 10 seconds before I pulled away. "We can't." "Why?" "Because if this falls apart, I have nowhere else to go. You hold all the power. I can't." "You think I'd hurt you if this didn't work?" "I think you're a mafia boss who kills people who betray you, and I'm a woman who's been abandoned by everyone who ever claimed to care. So yes, I'm scared." He cupped my face gently. "I would never hurt you, never use my power against you. If this falls apart, you'll still have a place here, still have safety, still have day. I swear it." "You can't promise that." "I can, and I do." His thumb brushed my cheek. "Sage, you've saved my life a dozen times. You've protected my son. You've become family. I'm not letting you go, whether you're in my bed or not." "That sounds like possession." "It's protection. There's a difference." "Is there?" He stepped back, giving space. "If you want to leave right now, I'll have my men take you anywhere. Money, documents, new identity, anything you need. I'll never contact you again. You'll be free." I stared. "You're serious?" "Completely. But if you stay, understand? I'm falling in love with you, have been for weeks, and I'm not good at restraint when it comes to people I love." My heart hammered. "You love me?" "Yes." "That's insane. You barely know me." "I know you better than anyone I've ever met. I've watched you see things no one else sees. I've watched you protect my son like he's yours. I've watched you stand up to me when everyone else is terrified. I know exactly who you are, Sage Bennett, and I love you." I should have run. Instead, I kissed him again. This time, neither of us pulled away. The next morning, everything changed. I woke in Jin Seok's bed, wrapped in sheets that smelled like him. He was at the window, phone to his ear, speaking rapid Korean. When he hung up, his expression was grim. "What's wrong?" "Westbrook is making a move. Tonight. He's planning to hit the Silver Lotus during service. Maximum casualties, maximum publicity. He wants to prove I can't protect my own territory." "How do you know?" "One of his people leaked it. Intentionally. He wants me to know. Wants me to evacuate. Look weak. So don't evacuate. Reinforce security. Turn his trap into yours. That's the plan." He pulled on a shirt. "But I need you to do something." "What?" "Stay here with Day. If this goes wrong, if I don't come back, there are instructions in the safe. Documents, money, contacts. You get him out of LA. Raise him somewhere safe." My stomach dropped. "You think you might not come back?" "I think I'm walking into a war. Outcomes aren't guaranteed." I got out of bed, walked to him. "Then I'm coming with you." "Absolutely not. You need eyes. Someone watching for inconsistencies, threats you might miss. That's me. It's too dangerous. Everything about this life is dangerous. I'm coming." We argued. I won. 6 hours later, I was in a surveillance van 3 blocks from the Silver Lotus, watching security feeds while Jin Seok and 20 men fortified the restaurant. The plan: let Westbrook's people enter, identify them, neutralize them before they could cause harm. But as I watched the feeds, something bothered me. The security detail at the front entrance. 2 men I didn't recognize. New hires. But they were standing wrong. Too relaxed, not scanning the environment. One kept checking his phone. "Jin Seok," I said into comms. "Front entrance security. Who are they?" "Lee and Park. Hired last month. Hyun-woo's recommendation before—" He stopped. "Shit. They're Westbrook's plants. Hyun-woo must have placed them before he was caught. They're going to let the attack happen from inside. Pull them now." Jin Seok moved immediately. I watched on feeds as he approached the two men, casual, non-threatening. Then, in one smooth motion, his men disarmed them, restrained them, dragged them inside. 30 seconds later, a van pulled up. 8 men got out, armed, but Jin Seok was ready. His men emerged from positions around the restaurant, rooftop, adjacent buildings, inside. Westbrook's team was surrounded in seconds. No shots fired, no casualties, just total, overwhelming control. Westbrook's men dropped weapons and surrendered. Over in 90 seconds. Jin Seok's voice through comms. "You just saved 40 lives." "Just doing my job." "No, you just ended a war." He was right. With Westbrook's attack team captured, his leverage evaporated. Jin Seok had undeniable proof of attempted mass murder. By morning, Westbrook's organization was dismantled, assets seized, operations shut down, people scattering. Jin Seok didn't kill him. He destroyed everything Westbrook had built and left him with nothing. More devastating than death. When Jin Seok returned that night, he found me in the garden with Day, reading under lantern light. He sat beside us, exhausted but alive. Day climbed into his lap without a word. Jin Seok held him, closed his eyes. "Is it over, Appa?" "It's over. Did Sage help?" "Sage saved everyone." Day looked at me. "I told you she was special." Jin Seok met my eyes over his son's head. "You did." Later, after Day was asleep, Jin Seok and I sat on the terrace overlooking the city. "What happens now?" I asked. "Now we rebuild, consolidate, ensure this doesn't happen again." "And me? What's my role?" He took my hand. "Whatever you want it to be. Officially, you're my security analyst. Unofficially, you're the woman I love and the person my son trusts most. Realistically, you're the reason we're all still alive." "That's a lot of titles. You can handle it." He pulled me closer. "Sage, I meant what I said. You're free to leave any time, but I'm asking you to stay. Not because I need you, though I do. Because I love you. Because Day loves you. Because you're family now." I thought about the life I'd had before. Running, hiding, surviving. Thought about the life I had now, dangerous, complicated, but full of purpose. Full of people who saw me, valued me, loved me. "I'll stay, but on one condition." "Name it. You let me keep noticing things, keep telling you the truth, even when it's hard. Always." "Then I'm not going anywhere." He kissed me. Soft. Promise. The city lights glittered below. A million lives unaware of what had happened. Unaware that a war had been averted, that 40 people were alive because I'd noticed 2 men standing wrong. I'd come to LA broken, desperate, invisible. Now I was seen, valued, essential. I'd found family in the most unlikely place, with a Mafia boss and his son. And for the first time in my life, I felt like I belonged. 3 months later, Day's 9th birthday party was held at the estate. Small, private, just family, which now included me. Mrs. Song made bulgogi and japchae. Jin Seok bought an obscene amount of Legos. I made a cake that only partially collapsed. As we sang happy birthday, Day blew out his candles and grinned. His father, his chosen family, his strange but stable life. Later, Jin Seok found me in the garden. "You're thinking. Always. About how I walked into a principal's office 6 months ago pretending to be your son's mother to avoid being killed. And now I'm actually part of his life, part of yours. It's surreal. Regrets? No. But sometimes I wonder what would have happened if Day had exposed me that day. He wouldn't have. He told me later. He saw you notice something true about him that no one else had. He wanted to see what you'd do with that skill. He gambled on you, and he won." Jin Seok pulled me close. We both did. I leaned against him, watching the kois swim, listening to Day's laughter from inside. I'd traded freedom for survival, autonomy for protection, solitude for family, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Because sometimes the most dangerous choice is also the right one. Sometimes the man who could destroy you is the one who saves you instead. And sometimes, pretending to be someone you're not leads you to discover who you really are. I'm not the janitor who witnessed a murder anymore. I'm Sage Bennett, partner to a Mafia boss, protector of a 9-year-old boy, woman who sees what others miss, and I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.